All right, so this is my 2025 NFL playoff predictions. I'll be predicting Week 18 along with the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So our first game, we have the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So in this game, we have two things going on. If the Panthers win, they're in. If the Buccaneers win, they're almost in because they need the Falcons to beat the Saints. They need the Saints to beat the Falcons down the line. Because if the Falcons hold on and get to 8 and 9, there's a three-way tie. Panthers hold the tiebreaker. So that even if they win, they could potentially still not make the playoffs. But I don't think they'll get to that point. I think the Panthers are going to hold on, and I think they're going to win 20-17. All right. This is the game of the year, pretty much. The winner gets the number one seed, a free pass at home all the way to the Super Bowl. So this is really important. And I think both San Francisco and Seattle have really good offenses. You have Seattle with Sam Darnold, and you have San Francisco and Brock Purdy. But I think I give the edge to Seattle in this one. It will be really close. I'm gonna go 31-28 for Seattle. And that means not only will they win the NFC West, but they'll win the conference and they'll have home field advantage all the way to the Super Bowl. Green Bay against Minnesota. I think that's an easy one for Green Bay. I'm gonna have them shutting them out 17-0. I don't see Minnesota putting up much of a fight. All right, Cleveland and Cincinnati. I guess this would be important for like draft and stuff like that. But I think, to be honest, Shador, he's good. I like him, but I think Cincinnati's gonna hold on. I'll go 13-15. All right, Indiana against Houston. This is a big game because if Jacksonville lost and a Houston win, Houston will clinch the AFC South, and I do think they'll be able to hold off the Colts in this one. I think it'll be 23-20. New York Giants and Dallas. I'll give this one to Dallas. I think it'll be 23-20 in this one as well. New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons. So this would have came into play had the Bucks won. Now this game doesn't really matter as much for the Bucks or the Panthers. I'm gonna go with the Saints though because they have that new guy who's been playing really good. So I'm gonna go 31-10. I think it'll be a blowout. So now it's funny the NFC South everyone's kind of it's the middest division in NFL history because if you look at it there's no bad teams. Everybody's just kind of in the middle. You got 9-8, 7-10, 7-10, 7-10. Like nobody's doing shit. They're just like not doing good either. So Jaguars, I got them picking up an easy win over the Titans, even though it's a kind of a trap game for them as they could lose the division. They'll clinch their division. Go with 32-14. Jacksonville will clinch the number three seed for now. We still have a couple games to predict. So Buffalo and the Jets. This could be a game where Buffalo just tanks it because I don't know if it really matters for Buffalo. They do want to get an easier opponent in the first round, but it doesn't seem like they could. So I think they'll win this game. 17-10. So now there's Detroit and Chicago. This is the only difference. It's the difference between the 2 and the 3 seed for the Bears. So if they can hold off Detroit, which I think they will, 17-10 again. Bears will most likely end up with the 2 seed. All right, the Broncos against the Chargers. So this is another trap game for the Broncos as they want number 1 seed, but the Patriots are right on their tail. And I think both of these teams really want that number one spot. So I think this one's gonna end 25-22. I needed it though. Um, all right. Arizona and the Rams. Rams can only be the 5 or the 6. They have to win and hope that and that because Seattle beat San Francisco, if they win, they'll be the 5 seed, and I think they will hold off the Arizona. So now they are the 5 seed. Kansas City and Las Vegas. I don't know if that game really matters much, but I'll give it to Kansas City. Miami and New England. Um, the big game for the Patriots. Uh, but I think they'll lose this game because the Dolphins have been heating up a lot. They were 2-7, 2-6. Now they're 7-9. So I think this one will be 21-20. The Patriots actually slide down to 3 in that scenario. Philadelphia against Washington. If Philadelphia wins, they'll clinch the number 2 seed, and I think they will, just barely, 29-26. And Philadelphia will actually end up only as a 3 seed, but Chicago gets a 2 seed. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, right? This is the biggest one. Winner clinches their division. Loser is eliminated from the playoffs. Um, and I think I'm gonna give the edge to Aaron Rodgers in this. Just in overtime, most likely it'll probably be 26-20 in an overtime game. I'll give it to the Steelers as they will clinch the final playoff spot. All right, now let's head to the playoffs. All right, so in the playoffs, we have a few interesting matchups here that like we have the rematch of the 2022 Chargers against Jaguars. This is Justin Herbert against Trevor Lawrence. Start with that. So if you guys remember, in the last time these two played in 2022, Chargers got up to 27-0 and they blew the lead. So like to be honest, I think this is where the Jaguars really this is their year, and I think that this is one of their times to shine. There's no Mahomes and there's no Lamar Jackson, so I'm giving word to Jaguars. It'll probably be a close one, perhaps in overtime. All right. Next is Bills against Patriots. This is a really interesting game. We've seen Josh Allen's potential, and Drake May he wants to win the MVP. So I think I think this will be a close one. Like it'll be a really close game. I think this one will go to overtime too, and I'm counting on Drake May to throw in a game-losing pick six. Give me the Bills. They're gonna go to the second round because, dude, they can beat any team that's not the Chiefs. They've proven they can beat the Ravens. All right, this is an interesting game. The Texans and the Steelers. So the Steelers, they don't really have much to lose. They got Aaron Rodgers. He's been playing forever. The coach Mike Tomlin got a decent pass rush, but I think like overall, I just trust the Texans a little bit more to get it done. I think this one will be a little less close, but I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be like 30 Texans to 20 Steelers. Give me the Texans. All right, now let's go to the NFC. Um, so you have the battle of the NFC North first. That's going to be a really interesting game. So the thing about Jordan Love, like if he's really hot, like he can really run the Packers either do really good or really really poor. So he's like really kind of hot and cold that way. I think that Caleb Williams, this is if he takes this, the Bears could definitely make the Super Bowl this year. So I think this one's gonna be really close, but I think I have to stick with the Bears just in overtime. They're a little hotter team right now. All right. The next is San Francisco, the Eagles. Well, the Eagles have kind of been a wishy-washy team this year. Like they haven't had the same firepower they had in their Super Bowl run last year. So like I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think again like it's this. I think this one will go to overtime. San Francisco will probably get a field goal, but I just think overall Philly's gonna be able to barely squeak by. All right, give me Philadelphia to get to the next round. Um, the Rams against the Panthers. All right, this one is a little. This is probably the hardest one to predict out of all of them because like you never know how the team that everyone counts out is going to do at home. Because the Panthers are probably the worst team in this entire bracket right now because they're too inconsistent. So like, and I can trust Matthew Stafford a lot more. I'd say the Panthers will probably make a comeback in the second half towards the end, but give me Rams. All right. Now on to the divisional finals. So in this first game, this is gonna be it's probably gonna be one of the most watched games of the entire playoffs, maybe more the Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills at Denver Broncos. This is a chance for Josh Allen to really cement himself as an all timer. Like he can really put himself up there and really like become like that guy who if the Bill he can propel the Bills to a Super Bowl this year, like they'll be talking about him a lot because there's no Mahomes. So, but at the same time, you have Bo Nix. The Broncos been playing out of their mind. They have a good coach. So I think this one will be a really close one too. Probably going to go to overtime, but I think the Broncos will just barely squeak by again, knock the Bills out. So they're going to go to the conference championship. All right, Texans and Jaguars. So I'm a Jaguars fan, so I'm gonna be as non-biased as possible in this one. So the Texans, they like to play out really quickly and they want to get the passes as quickly as possible. Whereas the Jaguars, they like to use the ground a lot more. I was watching C.J. Stroud the other day when he played the Colts, and I think it's great that he plays like that, and I think that it'll carry him a long way. But I just don't know if he's able to make that next step just yet. And the Jaguars are a little more consistent. I think overall this game will be really close, and it'll come down to maybe a game-winning kick or something. All these games seem like they're going to be close, in my opinion. But I think either of these teams will have one or two more years to succeed. But I know I'm a Jaguars fan, but in this case, I just have to go against them. Give me the Texans to go to the AFC Championship game. All right. Now on the NFC, so we got the Rams at Seahawks, another divisional matchup. We've had so many divisional matchups. We've had like four already. All right. So in this one, this is going to be an interesting game because we had this game a few weeks ago in week 16, I think, and the Rams blew a 16-point fourth quarter lead and then lost in overtime. So in this one, like you can expect the Seahawks to come out strong. Like they're gonna be coming out guns blazing, and I think if the Rams end up having to play from behind, they're not going to win this game. Like they have to get out like they did in week 16 and hold that lead and not make any stupid mistakes, stuff like that. So I think overall, like it's gonna come down to the wire, but I just trust the Seahawks right now. I just don't trust Stafford. He's just not. He's getting a little burnt out, in my opinion. He's starting to get tired. Um, all right, Eagles and Bears. This is another matchup we saw. I think it was week 15, and the Bears just completely outplayed the Eagles. So in this one, you have to watch out for Caleb Williams. Like he's really a gunslinger. Watching him play the other day, like some of those throws against the 49ers was like, damn, that's amazing. So I think but I think Jalen Hurts, like he has a little more experience than Caleb. And right now I just think that I'm hoping that Caleb Williams can hold on, but I think overall Eagles will squeak this one out, probably 20-10 or something like that. It'll be decently close. It's not going to be a blowout, but I give the edge to the Eagles. All right. So the AFC Championship game, we got the Houston Texans against the Denver Broncos. All right, this one like you can't. The thing is, you can't count out C.J. Stroud because I know like he's a really good QB, and I think that even though the Broncos they got good coaching, this is where the Broncos usually kind of fall flat, in my opinion. So I think you got the Texans going to the Super Bowl in this one. In the NFC, we have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Seattle Seahawks. That's a really good championship game. I think I like that one. So I think in this one, you're gonna have to watch out for like Jalen Hurts. Obviously, the Eagles, their defense, as long as their offense starts to click, I think I'm giving the Eagles. So we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Houston Texans in the Super Bowl. So everybody's saying, why am I picking the Eagles? Like you gotta watch out for them. Like, trust me. Like, everybody's gonna be like, no, like that can't be, that can't happen. You know, like, um, you gotta pay attention to the games and watch the Eagles. They're gonna improve over time, and they're gonna win in the playoffs. And to be honest, I think the Texans are a really great team, but they're like the Bengals. This is like equivalent to the Bengals run in 2021, where they come from out of nowhere, they beat a couple good teams, and then I think at this point they're running out of gas. And the Super Bowl is going to be in San Francisco. And I think the Texans, CJ Stroud will play great, but overall it's going to be like a 15 or 14-point win for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Give me the Eagles to win the Super Bowl 60, back to back champions.